Welcome to Satsang. So I was just out the front of the house having a look at the gardens, and I noticed there was an empty beer bottle on the front lawn, and it reminded me of what we do in our own minds, how we litter our own minds with thoughts that have no content. And if they do have content, quite often it's toxic. How we entertain negativity about ourselves and about other people and situations in life, and in no way does it support us, in no way does it help us. It's really like litter, but it's not someone else littering us, we're littering ourselves. We're entertaining it. We're the ones who actually produce the thought and then entertain it. And so quite often when we're down the beach, walking on the beach, Dakini is picking up rubbish that people have just left there because she likes to see the beach clean. It's very noble to do that. It's very noble to pick up rubbish after someone else and clean up the mess. But do we do the same on our insides? Do we do the same inside our own mind? Or do we litter our own mind? A long time ago, I realized that negative thoughts really don't help anyone. In fact, they do more harm than you can possibly imagine. They create a mess inside our minds and an energy around us that loses our clarity to see whatever's in the way towards our happiness. So we look at, well, what kind of thoughts would we consider to be litter? What kind of thoughts would we consider to be toxic to ourselves and maybe other people? And the first thing that comes to my mind is worry. There is nothing about worry that helps anyone. It just hurts. It creates such a mess in your own mind. It's a form of suffering in itself, and it's self-inflicted. Nobody does it to us. We're the ones who have to entertain worry. Otherwise it wouldn't be there. And so we can continue to entertain worry and continue to litter our mind with that kind of junk. Or we can put in a program to see that we're worrying, vigilance, and then another program to actually go, no, I'm not going to entertain that. No. It's that simple. It's not like we have to work worry out. We just stop entertaining it. We catch ourselves worrying, and we just go, no, not gonna. That's the end of worry. Now, if you've got a pattern of worrying that you've been involved in for a long time, that'll be a default pattern. It's going to take a fair bit of vigilance and a fair bit of practice to change that pattern. It's not going to be that easy. And so then you have to look at, well, do I want to continue the worry, or do I really want to stop it? How much do I want to stop it? In examining worry, we get to see that it actually doesn't do anything but hurt us. There's no positive aspect to worry. It doesn't make us feel any better, and it doesn't make anyone else feel any better, and it doesn't change anything. It just hurts us. And we're doing it to ourselves. We're responsible. So, if you are a worrier, imagine what life would be like if you weren't. What would your life quality be like if you didn't worry about things? And then think, well, how many years do you project you're going to live? Another 10, another 20, another 30, another 40, another 50? 50 more years, 60 more years of worrying, of suffering for no reason, with no gain, but only suffering? Is it worth changing? Or are you going to keep worry as a part of your repertoire? As something that you do to litter your own mind? Or are you going to do something about it? It's up to you. No one can do it for you. No one can change you. Only you. Only you can intervene. You have to be the intervention in your life. So along with worry comes another thing that's very close. It's called procrastination. People procrastinate. They run ideas over and over and over in their heads, hoping to somehow come to a different outcome than the one they already have. It's a form of insanity. Doing something over and over again, hoping for a different result, not getting one, is a form of insanity. And procrastination does that. It keeps you locked in your mind, usually problem solving, which is a form of negativity. Worry sometimes fits into that category as well. And in no way does it make you feel better, really. It clouds you inside your own mind, removes you from other human beings, so it destroys intimacy. And for me, I see it as another form of littering inside your own mind. So how clean do you want your own mind to be? Do you want it like that pristine, clean beach? Or do you want it full of junk? It's up to you, because no one's going to help you. No one's even probably going to motivate you. The ball's totally in your court. And if you've been a procrastinator for a long time, it's going to be hard to change. It's going to take a fair bit of vigilance to stop it. But unless you do that vigilance, unless you put a plan into action, it won't change, because it's your default pattern. But wouldn't it be nice to live the rest of your life without procrastination? How much time do you think you'd save? Because that's a form of suffering too, procrastination. There's no joy in it. How much time would you save in your lifetime if you weren't a procrastinator or you weren't a worrier? How much suffering would you remove from your own life by just removing those two things? And all it takes is your vigilance and your practice. Now we come to another negative aspect, another negative thought that we entertain. And it's the thought of being a victim. The thought of blaming someone else or something else for how you feel. It's a form of negative thinking also, because it makes you feel bad. It doesn't make you feel good to be a victim of another human being or a situation or even of yourself. It makes you feel terrible. It's another form of suffering that's self-inflicted. And it changes nothing. It only creates suffering. And the thing about being a victim or being in blame, we quite often go to anger. We then become very uncomfortable for all those around us as well. So not only do we make ourselves uncomfortable, we make those who we claim to love uncomfortable also because of our disposition. And this is another form of littering in our own mind, because this creates such a mess, such a heavy energy, that we don't get a great deal of clarity to see through anything. So if you're a person who entertains a lot of victim-orientated thoughts, a lot of thoughts where you're blaming other people and situations or yourself for how you feel, how long have you got to live, and are you going to do that for the rest of your life? Work it out. How much suffering is that you're creating at your own hand? And for what? What's the payoff in being a victim? You get to be right? Is it worth all that suffering for all that time? Just being right? And it's in your hands. You have the power to stop it. Through vigilance, catching yourself being a victim and stopping it, not entertaining it, not trying to understand it, just stopping it, that particular type of programming, you can be free of that type of suffering, and also you can relieve your family and your friends from having to put up with you when you're like that, which is a blessing for them. It's a gift for them. Because victims don't share joy, they share misery. This is the kind of litter that I'm talking about that we do in our own minds. Wouldn't life be so much nicer without this type of litter in our lives? And wouldn't it be so much nicer for our friends and our family if we weren't entertaining and putting that type of litter in our own minds? And it's up to you. No one's going to make you do anything. No one's probably even going to motivate you, as I said before. It's up to you. How do you want to live this life? It's your choice. If you don't want to be like that, if you don't want to litter your mind, become vigilant to these type of thoughts and put a practice of stopping them in. It's simple. It's hard, but it's simple. And it's up to you. Thank you for Satsang.